Welcome back, hunters. I'm the Survivalist, and we return to the Hunter Called Wild and the Askiy Ridge DLC. So we're going to continue this week with working through more of the story stuff. Our next destination isn't actually too far away from the main lodge, so we'll try going for that. But at the end of last episode, we came back to the lodge here, and we've seen a few species around the lake right beside us here. So I just want to take the binoculars and take a little look to see what might still be in the area. We do have that bear right there that might be interesting to go for. Looks like the elk are on the move. So it might be the case of most of the things we might try are leaving the area. So I might have been a little too slow to try to make any use of that. But at least we've been able to get a little look in and see. I am kind of I'm tempted to take a rifle that's meant for, like, classes 7 to 8 or 9 of species with us. Just so that way, if I do go for anything long range, we can handle it no problem. Like, if I go into our menu here, yeah, that stops at 7 and 8. So I'm kind of thinking, what if I could try to get us something for that, like, extra distance if we do see, like, bears or anything else larger than that. I just have to double check. I'm pretty sure I've got a rifle that will handle that far. And I might actually want to see about changing up the, sight I've got for the takedown recurve we're using. And it's like, yeah, see, I can actually use a variety of sights with it, so I'm kind of thinking maybe I'll switch to, I don't know if I should go for 5-pin or just the single pin. Maybe we'll go for the single pin, just that way I'm taking a little step further away from using the Pathfinder sight, which is basically, it kind of automatically clues you into where you're aiming. So we'll swap those out, see how I do using just the single pin sight. We'll stick with that. Weapon-wise, I've got a little bit of room on ourselves. I'm just trying to think of... what is the weapon? I'm looking for a rifle. I'm just trying to think of which one I want to use. Like, that one, if I check compatible items, that is 4 to 9, so that might actually be... maybe we will go for the... Okay, that's going to put us over, so I can't actually slap that in. So there's some stuff I could look at taking out. I'm actually kind of thinking one of the things I might take off is the electronic collar. Like, it does take 3.5 off of us, so that is a fair bit freed up, and I haven't been using it all that much, as well as maybe the elk scent, because I'm not using that, so I think that should let me get... Yeah, we'll get that in... Okay, so that's a 7mm Regent. So for that, I think we want to do... Okay, that's the polymer. That, yeah, I think that's the one that has the better penetration on it. Now, I'm trying to remember what the range is for that 7mm. Okay, it doesn't say there. Does it say here? Effective range is 150 meters. So you know what? It's not quite super far, but I think I still like that where it means we have to get close distance a bit to make it viable. So we have a little bit that we can do. That's not like just a given. And yeah, we don't want the expansion. We want the penetration. I think the expansion is more so if you were not quite getting lung shots. It kind of helps for wherever you hit a larger area, so it might incline to be more effective for taking down things where you're not as certain if you're able to get the lung shot to them. But I do think the penetration is far better than the expansion. So we'll take those. And let me just see in here about setting this up, because we'll do... Okay, well, I can slide those down, that we don't have that. We'll slide the Magnum there. That is easy enough for that. And we can actually use the same rifle sight for both of them. So that should be pretty good to do for our outing now. I'm actually surprised I can kind of aim in the lodge with that. But yeah, let's get the... Yeah, so that's an illuminated pin. I think it's always illuminated, so that way we can't really toggle it. Actually, I'll just check the... Just see if there is a toggle for it. Nope. Just says it is what it is under any lighting condition. So I think the thinking is for, like, if you're night hunting, you have that, it can like glow in the dark so you can see it for trying to get better. Or trying to aim a bit better. Is that... No, that's just a rock. I thought for a second that was like a dusky grouse right there. Yeah, we'll follow the road down. I don't think I'm going to take the ATV unless we have like a really far journey to make again. I feel like the ATV, because it does spook the animals, and I don't really like the idea of like flushing it out and then going for the hunt or like try and get shots. We'll probably try avoiding using it too much. It's just for the case of like, again, as last week, it took a while to get up to that little corner. Figure we'll zoom through to get the story progressing and get through some of the main missions. I do want to do free hunting outside of the story and after we get the main story stuff done, so we'll see how it goes. I'm also not entirely sure how long the story stuff will be. Like, I haven't completed very much of the main stories through a lot of the Hunter DLCs. I probably should, and that could be something I could always keep going back to if people do enjoy watching me try to hunt. Because, let's face it, it's not always smooth going for us here, or for myself here. But from what I've done of, I think Yukon Valley's the only one I cleared out all the main stuff with. It wasn't all that long of a main focus to go through. Oh. Okay, so that was a mating call. Okay, so it's a ways off, so we probably will have to go a while before we see them, but we've got some mountain goats. At least a few probably one female at minimum from the call. But where we're going is... Okay, right over there, where I think I actually can kind of see where the building's supposed to be, but it's outside render range. Yeah, we'll just hike our way down and see what we come across and see what we can hunt. We're basically going mostly the way we did 2 weeks ago, but we're taking straight and going the opposite once we hit that little fork. Oh. Yeah, so we got... I'm not going to try to move too much more to spook them further, but it is all females here, so it does seem like this is a species that sticks more so being on their own, and they are... Now, I don't think the 7mm... It actually does go that low. So I'm kind of tempted about trying to see about getting her in the back there. Because she doesn't look like she's too bad of a specimen to go for. Okay, she'll go down pretty quick from that. One way to tell is just the top right. If you have spotted the animal, you'll actually see real-time the health dropping down if it is a good shot. So she'll be down just a moment. I'm not too worried about having scared anything in the area. Since we have a long ways to go and we do have the wind against us, it's probably going to be a case of no matter what we do, we would scare some stuff. I'm just going to see about swapping those two around. Because I'm probably going to be going for the binoculars more so than the rangefinder. I just find with binoculars, I get much more zoom for it. I know the rangefinder, you can zoom in, but I don't believe it's as powerful. Like, that's about that far to there. With binoculars, how close do we get? Oh yeah, much more of a zoom on them. And that might help out a little bit when trying to, like, pick out which ones I'm looking for in a group. I'm not sure if maybe that's what the suggestion was for, like, there's a combination binocular rangefinder in the shop. But I do just find I like binoculars giving more of a clean view without, like, the long, or the big reticle lines that the rangefinder does use. I mean, it is just trivial. And it says you are at... Okay, well, it looks like he might be fleeing off. I was going to say I'll try to get him, but... Or get her, since she was right there for us, but I guess... we still might be able to. It did actually add a need zone to the map, which I wasn't expecting. Okay, now this is where... Okay, this is where I might have problems with the pin site. Okay, I don't know if I actually got her with any of those shots. I think I might have. No, I don't think so, because, like, the blood's not going down, so I don't think a single one hit. That's... One of my issues with trying to work with the pin sites is... Do you have it so it's blocking the spot you want to hit, or is it pointing at the spot you want to hit? I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'll see if I can at least, like, try to pick up some of the arrows. And yeah, these are the ones that have the little tracers on them, so we can see better where they all landed. That might actually be something... I'll keep trying to practice with it to see, but I might want to switch that out, just because, again, it's... I almost want more of a hole site, I think, so that way I can say, like, okay, I can move the... I know the center of the hole is where I would want to aim at. I know it's probably, for anybody really experienced, it's probably pretty stupid for them to be like, what do you mean you don't know how you're trying to aim with the pin sights? Just line it up like that. I don't know if it's the case if it's supposed to, again, it's block the spot you want to be aiming at, or it's just slightly below the spot. Oh. Okay, that's a black bear call back from the way we came. But I don't know if I want to go back up to find her. Because I don't know if the males would be better scoring or not. Usually for a lot of species they are, so... Alright, you know what, let's just stick with finding this mountain goat and keep going south, given that is our focus of direction. Because she should be down... Oh, yep, just ahead. I don't know if it was a double lung hit or just one, but that is one of the nice things about the extra penetration is... The expansion, you're probably going to guarantee... You'll probably get a single lung hit. With the extra penetration, you can get multiple. Oh, actually... Looks like I did go through the shoulder blade, so that slowed it down a fair bit there. And I'm actually surprised that a female scores a silver. We'll take that. I think that's just... Yeah, okay, I think that's just the bear from before calling again. We're going to probably leave her be, keep going this route, and head back down towards the road and see if we can keep spotting anything else down that way. Might as well just take a quick look up the mountain, but nothing really seems to be on the slope there. But yeah, back to this bow and arrow. It'll probably be easier to figure out when I'm aiming at a larger object than just like the little grouse for figuring out like the pin placement. It is something I know there are target ranges on certain maps, but I think the archery range is actually behind a DLC map. I think that's on the... I think it's South America. It's set in Brazil. I should check and see. I think there's I think it's like Parque Fernando or something like that. Yeah, Parque Fernando is where an archery shooting range is. I don't know if there's like a generic... I know there's a general shooting range, I think, on Hirschfelden you can use. I think that one's more meant for rifles and other firearms than, say, archery equipment for it. Oh, I just hear some ducks, but eventually we'll probably try doing a little bit of duck hunting, but I think that one you have to spend a little bit more points in order to get, like, the decoys and stuff to help draw them down and actually bring them into shooting range. I think as they just pass overhead, like we hear them often calling, we can't actually really go for them. Or at least I know that's how it was for the Hunter Classics, is you'd have to buy a lot of stuff to help, like, bring them down and actually go for them. I don't know if Call of the Wild follows that as well, or it's a little bit more forgiving on that. We'll keep just following down the road and stop every... it is just another grouse, so I'm tempted to leave it. Just because it is going to kind of sidetrack us, and we have gone for a fair few already. Again, to practice with the archery, I don't know if taking a bunch of missed shots will really help me too much. I think I want to try to find something with a little bit more size behind it. Although, I mean, I did say size, but they're quite a ways up the hill there, so I don't know if I want to go off for them. And they are just females. I'd prefer to, again, focus on kind of like the main target as being males for trophy scores and such. I don't believe there's anything really like herd management for the Hunter Call of the Wild. I think it's more so things just spawn in every time you load the game, and you... Actually, maybe not now that I think about it, because when we loaded in the game this day, we still had, like, some of the animals from the last session present, so now I'm not sure how that works. Because I thought it was every time you'll drop in, you'll get, like, a new session, and, like, new spawns and stuff in, but apparently not, so I have no idea how it works. Okay, we've got elk droppings, so we know they can be in the area. A few more ducks. It probably would be faster to... Yeah, you know, just for the sake of speed, we're going to go straight south. We'll hit the road anyway, and then we can follow it further. But, I mean, I don't think there's a point in spending the time go all the way around just to come back lower here. And, I mean, granted, we're going completely into the wind, which isn't really the smartest approach to trying to get any hunting done, but maybe we'll at least get some warning calls brought out from it, and with the 7mm we've got to use. I should actually check the... I mean, the Lapierre is a 2 to 6, so it does give us a little bit more of weaker power, but the 7mm does go all the way up to 9, so it's not too much of a loss, I think, if we do keep using both of them. It's having that extra versatility and, like, just being able to take a couple weapons that cover almost all of the weapon classes really does expand your options for just being able to hunt freely. I still think that's one of the things that Way of the Hunter, it really kind of didn't help itself with, was it could have given itself 3 weapon slots, so you could have tried to have more things on hand to go for anything, but with doing what they did and having the weapon classes be so restrictive, it basically felt like you'd kind of have to go into the field twice, almost. Once to scout it all out and see where everything is, and the second time to actually try hunting what you have as your target. Again, I would still recommend the Hunter Call of the Wild over Way of the Hunter. It's much more graphically accessible, which I think is a big thing going forward with how pricing is going on so many things, for like computer parts, even like game costs and such. And you do have much more freedom of accessibility for like focusing on stuff you want. Like, there is a lot of DLC for the Hunter Call of the Wild, but I don't think any of it is really mandatory to enjoy what the game offers. If you want to expand in a certain direction, you have options for it, but I don't feel like you are really hard-pressed to, you must pick things up to make the game playable. I mean, that's not to say Way of the Hunter wasn't, like, the same case where you could just play it as it is without DLC. They're both in that same spot, but I think, again, the pricing points of difference really do make a big kind of impact for, like, a decision. At least on my end. I can only really give my opinion, and everybody will have their own. I was kind of hoping I would have heard something with having trekked through here. But it does seem like the wind wants to go exactly in the direction we're trying to go. So we might have a little bit of a rough time trying to hunt here. I mean, I do love the... God, this aesthetic, again, just makes it... You feel so cozy in it. Especially when you come across, like, a log cabin or something. I think that's one of the reasons why I like The Long Dark so much as a game, too. Is because it's so much of this winter forest aesthetic. Well, we'll get along here and follow this on its way. Yeah, we've basically just been following the wind for this entire episode. I mean, it's not that long in, we're probably about halfway. I do think the episodes are probably best around the half-hour to 40-minute mark, just because of, like, again, how... Ooh. Was not expecting to see that. I thought I'd try for the shot. Probably not the smartest move to have done, but... Actually, it didn't go as far as I thought it would have. As the case, too, I can always go grab that arrow back. But yeah, I wasn't expecting to see the little pheasant just going right across the road there. So let's just go grab that arrow back and continue on our way, because we should be able to see the knock of it in the snow still. Yeah, there's a little red blinker. I do wish that the game wasn't as selective as it likes to be on when you can and when you can't retrieve your gear. Because it is actually in a skill, I think, a perk for the archery to get our arrows back. Recycle. Unlocks the ability to retrieve arrows or bullets and decreases the chance they'll break on impact. So I believe that's what's happened here, is that broke. But I mean, with the snow there, I can't really tell. We'll just head down, though, get this need zone checked out. Now, it says there's only one here, so that might have actually been the only one in the area. Although, there are a couple of these spots here, so maybe not. No, apparently they are more individual animals, but they do have an overlap need zone. And this is Le Chemin de l'Eau. I apologize, I'm probably butchering the French language there, but I'll still at least attempt it from what little French I do know. Because something in Canada is, because French is our second language, or second national language, I think it is, they do try to keep in the school curriculum to go through French classes for a few years through schooling. Of course, I can't say I remember all that much of it, but at least they try. Although one thing that I am actually surprised at is I don't think there is a pheasant caller in Call of the Wild. And that does make me, again, go leaning back to thinking the skill of maybe wanting to try to get the who's deer. Random chance of tracking a species not usually tracked by a particular caller. Yeah, I think that'd be the only one I'd still want, but I think 1, 2, 5... 7, 8. So I think I'd... Oh, okay, so we had moose in the area. That's one thing about... I've mentioned it before, getting distracted while I'm walking. If I'm going to stop and check menus, I should just literally stop the character from moving and check. Sounds like it's just the one cow moose here, though, so I don't think it's anything too worrisome. Yeah, the wind is shifting steadily this way. Although I'm a little surprised that we found the moose here, and we didn't really see too many of them, or... Actually, I don't know if we saw any moose up in the northern areas of the map. I guess maybe they're a more centralized animal for this, region. Now, we'll keep going to that spot, because my guess is that's going to be another outpost we can claim while we're there. Set these propane tanks in place to prepare for, like... don't remember if it's a storm, or just, like, prepare for, full-on winter. We'll just see how things keep playing out as we keep going along. I don't know if the main story will take us across all or most areas of the map, or it'll kind of focus on just a little bit. A lot of moose signs here, though, so we might actually get our first moose somewhere around here if we're cautious and listening out. Okay, very fresh, so we do probably have them in the area. Oh, we also have whitetail. I don't know if we've actually... I'm not sure if we've gotten whitetail yet or not. I know we've gotten, I think, a mule deer a couple of times, but I'm not sure if we have actually gotten close enough or stumbled upon a whitetail buck to get. We'll just keep going and see what we come across, I suppose. Yeah, there's... Okay, some moose trotting that way. I don't know exactly how old the signs are, so there's not really a point in trying to focus too hard on them. I think I'm going to try to keep the rule that I sort of came up with last episode, which was, if I visually see the animal, then I'll try calling and bringing it in. But if I can't do that, I'm not going to blindly just call and hope it comes in. I do want to have some efficiency to the episodes if I can. More ducks. Looks like it's opening up a fair bit out there, so maybe we'll get a good chance to glass around once we pop out the tree line here. One thing that I haven't seen is any wolf signs, so it must be the wolf packs are more restricted to only the northern areas, so we hopefully won't have to fight off any other packs for a while. Oh, looks like we got... Okay, that's just a little tree there. And yeah, we're coming up onto another little outpost. Oh! And we got some species here. Oh, okay, that is going to be worth trying to get closer to. Now, the wind is going to be a bit problematic. Ooh, did not want to do that. Accidentally broke us up into a run. He's staying calm, so I'm hoping... Maybe if I can stay going down to the south here and get the wind so it won't be blowing out towards them. I am still quite a ways off from that one, but that would be a very nice one to get. That'd probably be at least a gold. I don't know if it would actually be up to diamond, given it just says it's like a medium for difficulty for like trying to get, I believe. I think that is definitely one... Okay, yeah, there's a class 7, which is, I believe, beyond the scope of the Le Perrier. I want to keep that there, just so that way I have an idea of distance. Because the 7mm, I think, is only effective to 150 meters, so we want to try to be within that range for it. And that is... Yeah, it does top out at 6, so we will want to... be mindful of that, and just keep glassing every so often to see how they're doing. I think I should have enough time and distance that... Yeah, we should be safer now to close in. I don't think I have the scent cover active, because I believe you do get a little icon if you've used it. Okay, just a mating call from you. Maybe on the backswing we'll try for that guy. Well, actually, probably won't be able to, because I think if we do use the rifle for that one right there... Or do I try... I'm tempted to try calling in with the caller for the bow, but my problem is he's got basically a couple of escorts with him of the lesser scoring males. And I think if I were to call, they'll be drawn in much more readily than he will. So I think it is the case of I'll want to just pick him off using the 7mm Magnum. Yeah, he's still staying calm right there. I'm actually going... Okay, that's a mating call. We'll probably spook him. But I think we're in a good range to use the rifle here. Okay, it is a single shot. I've got that down there. Yeah, I'm not going to be, I think, too fussed about spooking the animal further. But I did... One thing is, I did have the 0 set for 150, and I think he was only around 25, or 125, so we'll have to see how that shot kind of landed up against him. Maybe we'll just try to stay low and crouched for... or does it matter since I was already moving? That might be the case, I might as well just walk the rest of the way here. As I probably spooked everything off within a certain distance, and because I did not follow just sit still logic after you've taken your shot, I probably pushed them a little further out than I could have. But we'll at least examine and see what we've got left behind. I didn't quite get a spot on him to know if he got hit immediately and like he was starting to lose health. But I feel like that it was a good placement kind of right around the core of where the lungs are. Now, because the 0 was set for 150, I might have shot a bit too high, so I'm worried it might have just been a body shot. But we'll see. So it should be somewhere around here. Oh, bingo. Yeah, that looks like a lung shot. Yeah, vital organ hit. Oh, I think that's... Oh, no, that's just the way that was. That's kind of actually neat. It might be hard to see in the video, but there's actually the dip in the snow from where he ran. That's one thing that I will say Way of the Hunter, I think, had done better, was that the tracking system was much better for that game than it is for Call of the Wild the Hunter, but only if you have a blood trail that will have the animal basically result in it dies. It's not something that, like, it's steady all around that you can make use of. But yeah, there's the outpost. Well, I guess outpost. Actually looks like some smaller tents or such. Actually, it seems like he basically took us right beside where we want to go, which is nice to know. But he did get a fair bit more distance than I thought he might. There's just a rock there. Oh, there he is. I thought I saw something a little unusual there laying down. Okay, let's see how he scores. He should at least be a gold. Again, I don't know if he would actually get up to diamond, but it's not too often we've seen animals that have had, like, hard difficulty to them, or at least not an elk that we've seen that has that. Let's see. He does qualify as a diamond. That is a very nice one to get. A lot to taxonomize, though. That's one of the only things I kind of have a little bit of an issue with, is how expensive it can be for, like, doing that. But for a diamond, it's going to be worth it. We'll take that. And, yeah, that's... I'm actually surprised how little penetration we really got for the shot. It's like, if we do take an inspection in, it didn't actually hit both lungs. It only got through the one. Now, we were at, like, the max distance for the rifle, the effective range, which might have played into it. But that's something we'll have to keep in mind, is if it says 150 meters, we'll probably want to try to close in a little...
The Stardown stones.
No.
They're beautiful little things. I would recommend that you stay in one of them if, you know, we didn't have that massive snowstorm to worry about.
Okay, so these are, I guess, little Kind of remind me of like tiny home things. I guess they're just basically little personalized igloo cabins almost. Well, we can claim the outpost. We've got a couple of things to check out from the looks of it. And then we have the story just to wrap up. Actually, was a pretty efficient episode today. Got ourselves our first diamond animal on the reserve, which is always a nice gain. The Stardance Gathering is a modern, stylish way to spend the night staring up at the night sky, encapsulate a rather modern sensibility, positioning colorfully coiffed celebrants, emulating the steps of a dance those that know the land had been doing for centuries. Interesting. And they do look like interesting little places to stay. And I guess one of them serves as your little outpost to get stuff in. And we also have to find where we plunk down the, Oh, it says over that way. Okay, well, we'll get the outpost claimed, then go plunk those in, just so that way we've got that completed for today. Little XP reward. And we're good to head back for that. I am still debating about trying to get like, maybe doing a point reset, because I could probably get rid of the innate triangulation, but that would only be one extra. The rest I think I'd want to hold on to here, because, like, Improvised Blind is really helpful with, like, me wanting to be more stalker for approach. But that one would basically only open that up to being able to possibly get one level of that. I'll keep weighing in and see. If it is possible that, like, we might have some more level ups to get that will actually unlock more points to spend, maybe we will do that. But as it stands, I don't think we... Oh, I'm being dumb. Okay, hang on. Remove that waypoint so I don't get messed up with that again. And see where we've got to put the propane tanks actually in place. Seems to say literally right at the flag here. But I didn't really see anything highlighted for, like, where to deliver it. Is it a case of, like, I go up to each one and interact, or... Huh. Like, there's a little fenced-in area there, but I'm not seeing anything for, like, at each of these. Oh, now it's showing up. Okay, so it is, we just have to go...
Doing this, by the way. It's really not common for us to get so much snow this early in the year. I hope it's not a bad omen.
I was going to say, like, as much as it says to deliver them, I wasn't sure if there was, like, a little bit of, like, a hub area that they would all be stored in, or it is each one gets its own little tank. I'll just quickly jog around, slap them in place. Oh, we got more elk in the area. Could see about trying to get another one. I don't know if it'll top the diamond we just got, but it doesn't take away from hunting for some more. Does look kind of cozy in there. Okay, I think we just got one more deliver, and then that'll be that complete. And we'll hear what the next step is. Assess the damage. I don't know what damage they're talking about, but we'll... Might as well head for it since it is still right in this little vicinity. We got that good to go. We've got our rifle we'll try out a bit more of, see how it does. And see how we do further. No, I want the binoculars, which is that one. I really should just rely on the radial wheel menu. It is pretty handy once you actually get used to it. Well, that's the damage, just a knocked over chair. Okay, that's a little bit more lived in.
Yikes! I need to make a note to bear-proof these door handles. But until then, could you please clean up in there? Please?
Clean up the bear poop.
Thank you. I wouldn't ask if I didn't already know that you were okay with, well, droppings.
Yeah, it's a neat little area to see. Okay, but let's just do what we can. Quickly get this in shape and place.
Thank you so much. Those little devils can be really clever when they think there's food involved. Let's see, the next thing on the list. Hold on. Don't move.
I'm gonna move.
Gabe, Tansei, do you know what you meant when you asked us to take pictures of the Star Dance domes?
I sure hope that I did. We need to document the state of the domes before the storm. That way, if they're damaged, we know what caused it.
Oh, does it matter?
Say the storm causes some damage, then we need to subtract any repair fees from our disaster budget. If the damage is just wear and tear, though, then repairs fit under the renovation budget. Then we take a look at all of our expenses at the end of the year. It lets us plan for next year and make sure that we're not spending money that we don't have.
Ah.
There's a lot of programs that we want to get up and running together. Things like joint elder care and after-school initiatives. These things can really bring the community together, but they're not free. All of our costs increase each year, but our government grant stays the same.
Yes, I understand. Hi, Gabe.
Askiy Ridge, Janine.
I
Okay.
understand what money is as a concept.
I'm still listening in, Janine.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, we'll tackle that next episode since it should be...
I think the coast
Oh.
Anyway, these satellite images are showing a big patch of blue moving your way. Get back to a mist lodge as soon as you can.
I was going to say, I'd kind of like if they just had, like, a little icon that if they're going to have a lot of audio to play and, like, go through, you just kind of see a little thing that lets you know that, okay, it's going to keep going and there might be pauses here and there. Then once it's gone, you know you've got a little bit break without chat going on. But what we'll do is we'll end today's episode for the Hunter Call of the Wild right here. Thank you all very much for joining me on this first episode of the week. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a like. And if you have any comments, tips, or tricks, be sure in the comments right down below. Until I see you all in the next video episode, Hunters and Survivors, please remember, as always, to take care, stay alive, and happy hunting.